We're on the phone tonight with the one and only Bryan Stars. Hi, Bryan. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I was really sick a couple days ago, so I think you appreciate being healthy a lot more after being sick. So I'm in a good mood, I guess.
Good. I know you always feel better after you don't. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like, well, and then also when you're sick, you're like, damn, I am so productive when I'm not sick. How the hell do I
do anything?
Through all this every day? You know? Trying to get through your normal day when you're sick is like, you're like Superman when you come back. So.
Exactly. Yeah, and you have snow and ice out here? I saw your Twitter the other day.
Yeah, I got in a minor car accident because of the ice. So I like to tell people I've never gotten in a car accident that was my fault.
Yeah.
It's always the ice that causes it. So.
But you're all right, right?
Ice, so.
You're okay though, right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. So
okay.
Never felt better.
Good. I wanted to ask you real quick. Maybe it's too early to ask you, but what's it like to be on the other side of the interview?
I've done a few of these, so I mean it's not that uncomfortable, but I definitely like being in control. So having to answer other people's questions is definitely I don't know. I guess maybe I do better interviews after because I know what it's like to be in their shoes.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. And no, I didn't think we were the first to interview.
Yeah, I've done a few big ones, so once you've done like the New York Times, you're pretty much ready for anything, I think. So
I would think so.
Yeah,
So I have to ask you, is your favorite color blue?
Nope. No, yeah, of course it is. I just decorate myself in a color I hate. No, blue. I've liked blue since I was a kid. I used to watch Power Rangers when I was younger, and I liked Blue Ranger, so I think that's where it started.
Awesome.
But I have a blue Mustang. I decorate my house with all kinds of blue. And if they sold a blue iPhone, I would buy it. If they had it's blue, you know.
Yeah.
It's funny. I actually met a couple of my fans at Hot Topic the other day, and I wasn't wearing blue.
Oh my gosh.
And they wanted to take pictures with me, and I was like, oh, I'm not wearing blue. It's not gonna work, you know. So it's definitely become a big part of the whole Bryan Stars ego or personality, I guess.
Cool. I just wanted to ask because I figured you must like it.
Yep, I love blue.
I also was curious. Do you have any siblings, or are you an only child?
I have a sister and a brother. They're both adopted from Japan. Michael and Elisa. One of them is 20. The other one is 19. So very close in age and very close. We have a good relationship. So.
How cool.
Yeah. And then I have 2 dogs as well. They're kind of like my little brothers, I guess.
Oh, how sweet. What kind of dogs are they?
They're puppies, actually. They're only a year old. So become very close to them. I love my dogs, so.
Oh, it's hard not to love them. So tell us about your. Pardon?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I just said it's hard not to love them.
Yeah, I'm definitely a dog person. I'm of the belief that people who don't like dogs probably aren't nice people,
right.
Unless they have a good reason, like they were bit or something. But
yeah,
I think if you don't like dogs, there's something kind of weird going on there.
Yeah, if your dog doesn't like somebody, it usually means something.
Yeah, exactly. I think dogs can tell when someone's bad or something. And I've always been good with dogs, so maybe I'm actually a nice person. I don't just think in my head.
Yeah. So tell us about your humble beginnings. Who was your very first, like, what you'd consider your first real interview?
My first interview, probably, well, I got an internship with the Omaha Buzz, which was a TV station in Omaha, Nebraska, on the NBC network there. And I started out doing these really weird stories. I went to, like, this event called Rib Fest, where I would just go around and ask people, like, what's your favorite kind of rib? Or what kind of beef really gets you going? And it was awkward, and it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I went to a rollerblading derby, and, like, I've never been, like, a rollerblading derby person. So, I mean, I was just doing these stories I didn't really care about.
Yeah.
And then one day, this band I really liked called Metro Station was in town, and I thought, I wonder if I could use my TV, credentials to get an interview, meet the band, do a really cool story. And everything worked. Put the video up on YouTube. And found that people were watching and searching for this stuff, and I sort of was inspired to do more and more interviews and see what would happen.
Awesome. And you entered a contest, right, through YouTube?
Yes, very recently I entered a contest called YouTube Next Up in the spring. Basically, it was a nationwide talent competition. Sorry, I'm getting another call. I'm going to ignore it.
Oh.
Anyway, it was this event called YouTube Next Up, and it was $35,000 if you won. 25 people from across the country won. And I had my viewers vote, and I guess I got a lot of votes, and I made a little entry video, and in May, I got to go to New York because I was one of the 25 YouTube Next Up winners, so I won $35,000 and a trip to YouTube headquarters to go through YouTube boot camp and learn how to really be a YouTube star for a living.
That's amazing. And that would be your New York Times interview, I assume?
Yeah, I mean, this was, I think, the first time YouTube did it. I would sort of compare it to, like, the American Idol of YouTube. We were the 25 winners, so we went to all these promotional events. The New York Times was there, ABC News was there. And I think the coolest thing we did was we went to this place called B&H, like a Best Buy. They sell, like, cameras and stuff. And they gave us a $1,000 gift card and filmed us walking around the store buying things. So,
ooh, that'd be fun.
Here we we're being handed money, we're in New York, we're famous YouTube stars, everyone's telling us how good we are, and, just walking around buying things, and it was a really, really great experience. That and just being around people who know what subscribe and like and thumbs up and annotations are. Those are things that the average person doesn't ever talk about. So.
Exactly. How funny.
Yeah.
What would you consider your best and your worst interview?
Oh, jeez. I'm very, very proud of my Black Veil Brides interviews. Largely because the first one was a big hit, but I've done 5 of them now, and I think the first one was such a phenomenon that each subsequent interview, or like the next part of the series, the pressure was really on. I compare it to the first Shrek movie, huge hit, right?
Right.
Well, the pressure to make Shrek 2, Shrek 3, Shrek 4 even better is out there. There's a lot of pressure to make it better than the first one. So I think each interview has been better than the last, and I think that's impressive, considering it's really just me writing the questions and producing it and setting it up. So I'm very proud of those videos. They've all been very popular, and I put a lot of work into it. My worst interview, geez. I did an interview with Avenged Sevenfold. It was like my 3rd interview ever, and I honestly was not prepared. I didn't know very much about them. I didn't realize how big they were because they were playing to like 10,000 people that night. And the interview was so bad that one of the band members literally just walked out halfway through the interview. Like 2 minutes in. Just left on camera. And then the other one just sort of gave me really poor answers the rest of the interview. And that was an eye-opening experience. It showed that, not every rock star you meet is going to be nice. You're going to meet some that are kind of, that can be rude at times. But also that you have to be prepared, and you have to be, you have to work harder than everyone else if you want to succeed in this business. So you can never come to an interview unprepared like that. Right. So.
Okay. Well, that was another question I was going to ask, is if anyone ever walked off. So I guess we already answered
well,
that.
There was another band did it. I don't remember their name, but it was a much smaller band, and I was doing 6 interviews in one day.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know much about them. And when the interview started, I honestly forgot who they were.
Oh, no.
So I jokingly was like, hey, who am I here with today?
Yeah.
And put the mic to his face, and he just walked away.
Oh, my.
Never came back, never apologized, never anything. So,
oh, well.
But, I mean, I think one thing I've learned in this business is, you're going to make mistakes, and you got to be able to shrug stuff like that off, because it is a competitive business.
Right.
You know, so yeah, definitely, things don't always go the way that you want them to.
Probably almost never.
Yeah, exactly. So.
How funny. Well, I also wanted to ask you. You always seem really, really nice in your interviews. Are you always a nice guy, or do you have a dark side that we don't know about?
Oh, good question. Let me see. I'm trying to think of how to answer that. I think I'm not faking my interviews. Like, I'm a very happy person. I'm a very I love to make people laugh. I think when I was growing up, I always looked up to people who could make me laugh, and over time, I sort of emulated my favorite things about people that were funny. So anytime I'm doing a video, I'm trying to be funny. So I think that's genuine. I guess the way of answering that would be, I've been disrespected by bands in the past. You know, you'll have bands that schedule you for a 2 o'clock interview, and you know, you don't actually get to interview them until like 6 or 7, so you waste 3 or 4 hours. I've had bands that completely cancel the interview. You'll email publicists, and they will turn you down for an interview you're more than qualified to do. So, I mean, you do get stepped on quite a bit in this business. I think instead of being mad about it and complaining and whining about my problems, I've always, anytime I'm turned down, whether it be by a publicist or a band or even YouTube, like when I wanted to become a YouTube partner, I got denied my first 3 or 4 times. It just motivates me to work harder. So I think what you see on Bryan Stars is someone who is very passionate about what they do, very determined to be the best of the best, and very, very focused on making you laugh at least once, because otherwise it was a failure.
And I think all that shows.
Yeah, so I think I'm really a nice guy, and I think having something to pour all of your negative energy into, you know, if you're frustrated, having a positive way to sort of make yourself feel better or do something about it goes a long way for people. So whether it be working out or doing better in school, I think everyone can find ways to take their negative energy and do something positive with it if they can.
Very good. Besides music, obviously you really enjoy music. What other things are you interested in? Do you have other hobbies or?
This is something fairly recent, probably in the last year, but I love working out. I jog a lot. I go to the gym a lot. I'm not into becoming ripped. I just want to be healthy.
Right.
So, you know, I love just lifting weights, and I love jogging, and I love doing that. I'm also really into video games. Not as much recently because I've been so busy, but back in the day, I was actually a competitive Halo player, the video game Halo. I went to national tournaments and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, video games are a big part of it. Working out is a big thing. And then I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, so every Sunday, kind of football day for me.
Yeah.
That'd probably surprise a lot of people, but I love the Cowboys. So, you know, sports, music, you know, I definitely have a lot of interest. And just being around people. I like being around people and making people laugh and living life. So, I like to party sometimes, too.
Just a little bit.
Sometimes it gets me into trouble, but...
Yeah. Well, you need a little trouble in your life, I guess.
Everyone has to experience some of that stuff, so...
You're obviously a guy who had a passion, a dream, and went for it, and has been successful so far. What advice would you give to a young person or someone that has a dream, like either to do what you're doing or just whatever it is? What would your advice be to them as far as going for it?
My dad has a saying that, I don't know if it's his saying, but that's what I'm going to give credit. I'm going to give credit to my dad on this one. He says, hard work loses to talent unless talent doesn't work. And I think the theory of that is that I think anyone can be successful at just about anything, even if there are people better than you, if you work harder. I really do believe that the hardest working people do succeed no matter what it is they're doing. And you know, I think what I want people to know about Bryan Stars is it was not easy. Like I said, I got denied for YouTube partnership the first 4 or 5 times. I had bands walk out on me. There were days when I was first starting where I would actually go down in subscribers. You know, I would wake up with 3,000, or excuse me, go to bed with 3,000 and wake up with 2,900.
Yeah.
So there were definitely points where you wonder why you're doing it. You know, days where you're waiting outside all day in the cold for one interview, and then it's not a good interview, or they don't show up, you know, like.
Yeah.
But you have to push through that. You have to keep at it. You have to work harder. You have to really put your life into it. So I feel like if you have a dream, you have to be willing to dedicate your life to it, not just, you know, your 9 to 5. You have to dedicate everything. You know, you might have to sacrifice spending time with friends, family, hobbies. My video gaming has taken a hit because of this. It has to become your entire life. But I think if you ask any band that's made it in this business, or anyone that's really made it in the entertainment industry, they would have a similar story, that you just have to work harder than anyone else. But if you do that and you're talented, I think big things can definitely happen. So.
Great. Now I'm gonna go funny again. What's the crappiest advice someone ever gave you?
Crappiest advice someone ever gave me?
You don't have to say who it was.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. That's a tough question. I actually kind of like that. I'm gonna have to use that one myself. Crappiest advice someone ever gave me. Well, I guess a good way of answering that would be, some of my friends look at what I've done. They see that I have all these subscribers. They see that I have all these videos, and they wonder, you know, why aren't you out partying every night? Or why don't you just, you know, put up 1 or 2 videos a week and just live it up, man? You have all this money, you have all this fame. Like, you should just be, you know, life is good. And I think people stop before they reach the finish line way too much, you know? If you're trying to lose weight and you lose 20 pounds, that's when you need to push harder than ever. That's not when you start celebrating with McDonald's, you know?
Exactly.
And with YouTube, for me, you know, people tell me that, oh, you've made it, you're better, you're awesome. I don't just want to be good. I want to be the best. And to do that, not only do you have to work hard on the way up, but you have to work even harder once you get there. So,
to stay there.
Again, I think the biggest bands you see out there, the biggest names you see on TV, if you actually were to meet them and talk to them, you would see that they work just as hard, if not harder, at the top of the mountain than they did getting up there. So, you know, I think life really is about finding a passion and working your ass off to make it a reality. And that's what I've done, and I hope to continue to do that.
Awesome answer.
Thank you.
You obviously, like you just got through saying, want to be the very best, and it is a competitive business and all of those things. What would you say would be one thing that makes your interview unique?
I just think I ask good questions. And I think that's partially because of my audience. They tell me what they like, they tell me what they don't like, but I just feel like I know what people want at. So I think okay. The best thing about a Bryan Stars video is you don't have to know anything about the band to enjoy it. I feel like all of my videos, all 300 and some videos that I've posted, each and every one can be watched by anyone, as long as they don't mind cussing and other vulgar things. But anyone can watch those videos and enjoy it, because every video I worked hard on, I treat an interview with a small band exactly the same as I treat it with a band like Disturbed or Slipknot, one of the big names. So, you know, I really do try and make videos that anyone can enjoy, whether it be big bands, small bands, girl bands, pop singers. I'm just trying to make really good videos that people want to watch.
Right.
And people always ask me, what's the secret to being big on YouTube? It's making a video or videos that people actually want to watch. You have to make them laugh. You have to make them smile. You have to make a video that people give a shit about,
right.
that they're going to tell their friends about, that they're going to come back and watch again because they liked it so much. That's
right.
the secret to succeeding on YouTube. So, and I think that's why my videos and why my channel has worked is because I make every single video. I've never put up anything I'm not proud of. I'm putting up one right now with a band I've never heard of before I did the interview, but I spent 5 hours editing it, and I think it's going to make people laugh, and that's what makes it work.
Awesome. If you gave yourself a motto, what would it be?
A motto?
Yeah.
Don't stop believing. That would probably be it. You know, because there were times where it was difficult, but you know, I think if you have a dream, it's really important to believe in yourself. You know, I think a lot of people have dreams, but I'm not sure all of them believe that they can achieve it.
Yeah.
I really think having that hope and that belief that you can do it is what makes the difference. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to, you know?
Exactly.
So don't stop believing. And if I were to give myself another motto, keep on rolling by Limp Bizkit, you know?
There you go.
Keep it going, baby. Don't never give up. Don't ever stop.
Now here's a completely different kind of question. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food?
Yeah.
I love pizza. Mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I like cheese. Anything cheesy. You know, similar to my interviews. I love cheesy jokes and I love cheesy food. So pizza. My favorite restaurant's probably Olive Garden.
Yeah.
And if I go home for dinner, like if I actually go back to my parents' house, they know that I want like mac and cheese. Like that's my favorite. So.
Yum. No, I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's so good. So bad for you, but so good.
Oh, I know. Do you cook?
No, I don't. Like my fridge is actually filled with like pretty bad. Like it's mainly microwavable stuff. Like I'm in it right now. It's I got some frozen waffles, some frozen biscuit sandwiches, some frozen meals, a frozen lasagna, some ice cream. So
you have to have ice cream.
I cook eggs sometimes, and I even screw that up a little bit. But you know, maybe that'll be my next goal in life at some point is to become a good chef. And you know, my sister's a great chef, so maybe someday she can teach me.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
What do you want for Christmas?
What do I want for Christmas? If I were to say, I really want an iPad, but I'm trying to wait until the new iPad comes out.
Oh, yeah.
But I love the iPads. I think they're just so cool. I like owning nice things. So when I won all this money, I didn't go off and blow it on stupid stuff. I bought a nice apartment. I bought nice furniture. I bought a 55-inch TV.
Awesome.
I bought a new laptop. And I got a new iPhone. I really enjoy having nice things. So
yeah,
you know, that's one of my. I'm probably like people tell you shouldn't like objects more than people, but I think I might actually like my stuff more than people sometimes. Like I really do like my stuff.
Your stuff and your dogs.
Yeah, but you know, I guess that's my prerogative. If I made the money, I can spend it on what I want. So.
Well, that's right, and you have a good use for all that stuff too. It's not like you just, you know, don't use it.
Well, yeah, I hate clutter, too. Like, I only buy things I really like. So,
yeah.
You know, I have a very clean living room, but I have an Xbox, I have a nice TV. I have my blue balls. I don't know if you've seen the videos. But,
yeah.
Everything has a purpose. Everything has a point. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want people to walk into my house and be impressed. Not impressed, but to know that I'm doing well.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Hopefully someday I have like that beachside house with like a condo and all that.
Yeah.
Stuff. A dolphin that comes and says hi whenever I call it.
Right.
Like
you think you'll ever?
You know, I don't want a dog. I want a dolphin.
There you go. Aim high.
Yeah, that says hi. That speaks fluent English.
Yeah.
And Japanese.
What was your last iTunes download?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, I do know. It's, let's see, Where I Belong by the band The Always. It's actually a band, I put up that music video yesterday. And one cool thing I've been able to do with Bryan Stars that maybe people don't know about is I'm able to support unsigned artists. Think of it this way. I feel like if an average person hears a song they really like from a band that a lot of people don't know about, they love it, they want to tell everyone about it, but they can only tell their friends, or they can only post them on Facebook. With me, if I find a band I really like, or if I find a song I really like, I have the potential to tell 100,000 people about it.
Right.
You know, like, how cool is that? If I really like something and I want to tell people, man, this is awesome, you got to listen to it. And
everyone's going to.
Yeah, I can tell everybody. So, and that's one of my favorite things is helping out these small bands and, you know, helping people achieve their dreams, because I think I've helped quite a few bands get their start, or at least grow a little bit more. And that's really cool, because I really do respect bands that are passionate about their music and are willing to put in the hard work.
Right.
It's not easy, but it's an awesome thing to accomplish if you can do it.
Yeah. Okay, another Christmas question. What would you say would be your best childhood Christmas memory?
My best childhood Christmas memory?
Yeah.
Ooh, let's see. Well, just in general, Christmases were always awesome. What they would do is my parents would make us wait at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
And my mom always has to take pictures. So she'd go and get her camera, and all three of us would be at the top of the stairs, super excited to go down for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then we'd go down, and all of our toys would be laid out under the tree, and it was just really magical. Like, Christmas was always really special. And nowadays, we have really weird traditions. Nowadays, we usually wake up, we have Christmas breakfast. We have, like, eggs, sausages, we just make this giant, great stuff. We have this weird apple soda thing that we drink.
Yeah.
That we don't drink any other time in the year, but for some reason we want to drink it on Christmas. So we drink apple soda. And then at night we go to Chinese. It's a tradition now.
Oh,
we
cool.
always go out for Chinese on Christmas night. So
that sounds good though.
Yeah, it's good, and it's finding your own traditions, and finding your own way of doing things. I think many times people try and conform to what other people want, or what other people think.
Right, what they think they should be doing.
I'm totally okay with having a bizarre tradition, like on Christmas I eat Chinese food. You know,
yeah, I
like it. It's awesome.
I usually make gumbo.
So, yeah, it's a cool feeling if you can just be proud of your own way of doing things. And,
exactly.
Our family has a quirky little Christmas habit, but it works. So.
Yeah, it works for you, and that's all it has to work for.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned this a little while back. I was going to ask you how many interviews you've done now. You had a number there earlier, 300 or?
Geez, well, there's quite a few I haven't posted yet. I would say it's getting close to 400 overall.
Awesome. And how long have you been doing this? Would you
3
say
years.
3 years? That's a lot. That's not very long.
No, it's not. And I probably didn't even do it as much as I'm doing it now 3 years ago. So I've only been doing this like as a full-time for about a year. So who knows where I'll be in 5 years, because 5 years ago I was in high school. But
wow.
Just goes to show that sometimes a lot of hard work can pay off very quickly. So I've been very lucky, I think. But I've done 400 interviews, and plan to do 400 more, maybe. There's that many bands out there, hopefully.
Yeah. Do you have plans to write a book one day about this whole experience?
A book?
Yeah. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've learned a lot, and I think I have a unique story. I guess it just depends if people would want to buy it. A few months ago, people asked me if I was ever going to start a clothing line. Or if I was ever going to sell T-shirts, and one day I was like, yeah, let's do it. Enough people asked, and I did it. So
and you sold out.
Yeah, we sold out the first batch. So I think it's one of those things where, well, one thing that always used to frustrate me was when I would spend a ton of time on a video and I'd upload it and no one would watch it. Like back when Bryan Stars was really small.
Yeah.
So I love working hard on something and making something I can really be proud of and that people will really enjoy. But I don't want to do it unless I think people will actually watch it or read it or buy it, and people will enjoy it. That's really what I get off of, not in a weird way, but I get off on people enjoying something I spent time creating. So I think as this story continues and as more and more cool things happen, who knows? Maybe there'll be a book, maybe even a movie.
A movie.
A movie would be sweet. I would love to have a movie. That'd be awesome.
Oh, that brings me to another question. Who would play you?
Who would play me? I've heard a lot of people say a lot of people have said that I remind them of Michael Cera.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know who that is, but anyone who's watching, go watch Michael Cera in the video or a movie or whatever, and then watch me. I think we're very similar. So maybe someday I'll be famous enough that I get to meet him, and I'll be like, dude, I'm like your long lost brother. we're both nerdy and awkward and rich. Yeah, this is awesome.
That's funny.
Maybe someday.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah.
Or maybe you do. I don't know.
The other person who could play me is Will Smith.
Oh, there you go.
I realize that he doesn't look quite like me, but
he could probably pull it off.
He's one of my favorite actors. So I think Will Smith with a little makeup could definitely pull off the Bryan Stars role. Shooting things and jumping off buildings. Definitely me. So.
There you go. I think if he really applied himself, he might could.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever travel for interviews, or do you just catch people when they come through Nebraska, or both, or?
Yeah, sorry, I'm eating a breadstick. I travel to Kansas City. I've traveled to Des Moines. Generally, I only travel between 1 and 3 hours, but a few times I went all the way down to Oklahoma, which is 4 or 5 hours away.
Oh, wow.
So I will say that since I live in Lincoln, Nebraska, very rarely does the show come here. So just about any show I go to has at least 2 hours of driving round trip. So really, anytime I go to a concert, it's sort of a day-long event with the traveling and the interviews and eating and all that stuff. But it's kind of nice because I spend so much time alone in my apartment on my computer that
nice to get out.
It's probably good that I get out of the house for the day and hang out at a show.
Yeah, get a little air. So you mentioned very earlier in your career, that you did other types of interviews. Do you think you'll ever do any other types, or will you stay with music?
Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually uploading a video right now.
Okay.
So it was rendering. Yeah, I have the weirdest schedule. Sometimes I'm posting videos at in the middle of the night type of thing. But sorry, could you say that one more time? I
said you mentioned earlier that very beginning of your career, how you did the odd, different, strange interviews that weren't music related or whatever. Do you think you'll ever do any other kinds of interviews now, or will you just stay with music?
As much as I love music, the main reason I enjoy doing interviews is just asking interesting questions to interesting people. And while I do think there are a lot of interesting people in music, I think there are many, many more interesting people outside of music, So I would love to interview someday sports stars, politicians, and just, interesting people. One time when I was in school, I was at the University of Nebraska studying broadcast journalism. I got to interview a police officer, and I genuinely enjoyed getting to sort of sit down with a police officer for 30 minutes and kind of get to see what they do every day and how they think and, the problems that they face and who are these people behind the badge that we all deal with. So,
right.
Music is cool, but I would definitely love at some point to just be able to interview anyone that I find interesting or anyone that I think would be a good fit to the show.
Cool. So. Could you see yourself interviewing the president? Not the president, but any president?
Yeah, I don't want to get too political here, but I'm a...
I was trying to avoid that. I just meant generally speaking.
I'm a big supporter of Barack Obama, and I would love to interview him someday. And on the contrary, I wasn't a huge fan of George Bush, but at the same time, I think I'm sure he has an interesting story, and he had his reasons for doing things the way that he did. So, I would love to interview presidents. Other people that come to mind, Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
The future me, Will Smith would be cool. Justin Bieber. That's actually one that Justin Bieber is a perfect example. My audience would hate Justin Bieber. I would probably lose like 1,000 subscribers if I interviewed him, but I would love to, to ask him, what would be your porn star name? Or, not even that, but just to sort of see who is this kid that, became the most famous person in the world.
You're right.
I see so many interviews where they ask questions we all know the answers to. I think,
yeah, exactly.
The reason that it's worked and what I would like to do is ask interesting people questions that people actually want to know about.
Right. And that is one thing that stuck with me watching yours. The very first one of yours I watched was Andy Biersack that my daughter had me watch. And I remember saying to her, this kid's good, I'm sorry to call you a kid. I'm older than you are.
That's okay.
But, and so then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to watch this one. And then before I knew it, I'd watched like 10 of them, But you do ask it. You can just tell, you put in the thought, well, no, how come no one ever asked this question? Or, I wonder what would happen if I asked this question. And that's kind of what has prompted me to try to start doing this a little bit, too, is, I read articles and interviews and in magazines and stuff like that, and it's always the same questions, it seems like, that people ask.
And I think, and then for me, when I ask a question, when I'm preparing for an interview, and I put a question down, before I even put the question down, in my head I think, okay, how do I think he's going to answer this?
Right.
And if I can answer it before talking to him, how many albums have you sold?
Right.
If I can find the answer without talking to him, it's stupid to even ask. Or, how's tour been so far? Like, I can sort of imagine he'd say, well, it's been good, we did this and this.
Yeah.
One thing I don't know is, what's been your most sexual fan experience? Or, what's been the rudest thing a fan has ever done to you? I have no way of knowing that, neither does the viewer, but that's an interesting question.
Right.
So, it's really finding questions that people want to know, without being too disrespectful or anything. So,
right. Which leads me to my next question, something that I really, really want to know, and I think everyone wants to know, is who's your favorite Smurf?
My favorite Smurf?
Yeah.
Oh God, I've never really watched Smurf.
Oh really?
Which is like a difficult thing to say. Maybe I should watch an few episodes and then I can tell you.
Just say the blue one.
Yes, the blue one. Yeah, the ones that are blue, those are my favorite. I like them all because they're all blue.
Yeah.
I will say, I know that in the movie Katy Perry played one, and that's another person I'd love to interview. But the one that Katy Perry was in the movie, that's my favorite. For sure.
Must have been Smurfette because there's only one girl.
Yeah, so the girl, so she's blue, so she's probably, the hottest girl ever, the bluest girl ever. So.
Well, what's funny is I was going to say Muppet because of the big Muppet movie everyone's going to watch, and I thought, you know what, he likes blue, I'm going to change that and say Smurf.
There you go. Yeah, the Muppet one I wouldn't have a good answer either, so I guess I need to catch up to my cartoons.
Start slacking off a little bit.
SpongeBob character, I don't know how to do one for that.
Okay. Oh, so who's your favorite SpongeBob character?
SpongeBob. No, I like Squidward.
Yeah.
He's the exact opposite of me, so I think he's hilarious.
Okay, what's the strangest response that you've ever gotten to a question? Totally, you just did not expect.
When I interviewed Asking Alexandria, they can turn any question and make it incredibly sexual.
Yeah.
And, with Asking Alexandria, I think at one point they started talking about bestiality and, I guess, okay, here's the best one. I asked Asking Alexandria, how do you pick up a groupie? Because everyone knows in rock and roll there are girls that, just want to sleep with the bands. And
right.
I was like, what's the secret? Like, how do you pull that off? And I didn't just get an answer. They actually showed me how to do it. Like, they actually went and got girls, and then they wanted to film me doing it. So, every once in a while, a band will really embrace me, and I won't just be the interviewer. They'll sort of turn me into a rock star for the day.
Yeah.
So, Asking Alexandria is completely outrageous. I love it. And they taught me how to pick up a groupie. So
you're
if I
set.
ever need to do that, I know what to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen much, though. I mean, overall, it's interesting. Most rock stars are much nicer than you would think they'd be.
Uh-huh.
But I really just think it shows the music industry nowadays is that it's so competitive and it's so difficult that fans have to be nice, because if they're mean to their fans or if they come across as jackasses, they can't afford to lose any fans or any potential buyers. And I think that's a good thing, because at the end of the day, music really should be about the fans and the people that are listening. Because I think music is a great, great thing. It really helps people through tough times, and
right.
I think it's good to see a market where the bands have to be loyal to the consumer, because I think when that's the case, you see great music and more touring, and people being rewarded for their support. You know,
right.
If you're going to support a band or you're going to support even me, you should get rewarded for it, whether it be through getting to meet them or even just knowing that they're good people and you're supporting something genuine. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with social media too. You know, a lot of people get tons of exposure these days that way, quick, but it can also go bad that way too, really fast.
Well, and for me, I think that's an interesting point. I think one of the reasons I have succeeded is because with social media, I have taken the time to reply to comments and, you know, just to build that personal connection, because, again, if you want to be the best, you have to work harder, and I can't think of any work I'd rather do or any work that would be more beneficial than taking the time to tell a girl thank you for supporting the show, or tell a dude thank you for loving me, no homo. I get that all the time from guys. Yeah. I love you, no homo.
Yeah.
I love you too, man, no homo. But yeah, you know, it's just taking the time to thank the people that make it possible, because at the end of the day, I think both myself and bands have an awesome job and are getting to live our dreams. So the least we can do is be grateful for it.
Very good.
I think it's not, a lot of bands will just do the interview and then that's it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll thank you, but what I've really I guess a good way to answer that is, a lot of bands aren't as grateful as they should be, but then again, that makes you appreciate the real bands, because I've had a few bands that not only thank me, but remember my name the next time I see them, and post my interview on their Facebook, and go above and beyond to support me. And, you know, a few off the top of my head: Black Veil Bride, Motionless in White, We're the In Crowd, All Time Low. You know, some bands have been very, very nice to me, doing multiple interviews and, you know, just going above and beyond. So, yeah, I really think, well, on my end, I think, again, bands that are nice to their fans, bands that are nice to the press, sooner or later word of mouth spreads and, you know, people hear about it. So I think it does pay off in the long run. So.
Yeah.
Very competitive business, so you can't expect that. You know, you can't. If you expect to please everybody, you're going to fail. So I think, honestly, at the end of the day, the only person you can hope to really satisfy is yourself.
Right.
But then again, every once in a while, when a band does thank you or does appreciate it, it's just icing on the cake. But you should be baking the cake for yourself. Anything the bands do is just, you know, icing on top.
That's a good way to put it.
You did a great interview. I really enjoyed your questions. Thank you so much.
Do you think? Because that was actually my very, very last question was, how'd I do?
You did good. Well, yeah, you did a great job. If you email me a link to everything when it's done, I would be happy to tweet it, Facebook it,
okay.
You know, do everything I can to promote it. So if it's really good, like, if you know, I'm definitely a big believer in, like, if it's good, I'll maybe even mention it on, like, Bryan Stars News or something. So
oh well.
I'm still looking for, like, that great article that really summarizes what I'm doing well. So if you do, who knows, maybe I'll even put it in, like, my little resume that I send out to bands and stuff. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So. How cool.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. It really was.
Thank you for giving us the time. I appreciate it.
No problem. And I expect to see a Bryan Stars shirt on you at some point.
Yeah, I plan to get one. You have new ones in now.
So. All right. Well, hey, thank you both so much. Hey, and thank you for showing your mom my videos. That's awesome that you're telling people about it. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks again, and who knows? Hopefully I get to meet you guys someday. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too. Enjoy your dinner.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.